Good morning, church. Pastor Joshua here. We're continuing to work our way through the Lord's Prayer. And this morning we're looking at the line where Jesus teaches us to pray, "Lead us not into temptation." Now, I don't know if you're familiar, but in the book of James, who was one of the early church leaders, encourages the Christians, saying that God doesn't tempt us. So, if God doesn't tempt us, why do we pray that God would not lead us into temptation? Because indeed our God is good. He doesn't tempt us. So what does it mean to pray, "Lead us not into temptation"? Well, I think in part, for me, when I think about what this prayer means, I'm brought to the book of 1 Corinthians. In chapter 10, verse 13, Paul writes to the church in Corinth, and he says, "No temptation has come upon you except that which is common to man. And God is faithful. He will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you can bear. When you are tempted, he will show you a way out so that you can endure." So to just unpack that really quickly, Paul is acknowledging we are all sinful. We all struggle with temptations. That includes your pastors. That includes believers who just came to believe in Jesus yesterday to believers who have been walking with Jesus 50 years. We all struggle as long as we're here in this fallen world. But the promise of God in the book of 1 Corinthians is that God will not allow us to be tempted beyond what we can bear. And when we are tempted, he will give us a way out. Think about in your life an area of struggle for you, maybe an area where you just continue to struggle. Maybe it's daily, maybe it's weekly, maybe it's monthly. But if you think about it, maybe you can think of times where you saw a way out. You saw the escape route, and maybe you took it, or maybe you didn't. I think this prayer is saying to God, "God, I need you to give me a way out when temptation comes, and I need you to help me to take it." It's a promise that God will not allow us to be tempted beyond what we can bear. I think in the Old Testament of Job, and if you've read the book of Job, Job was this man who loved God with all his heart and was wholly devoted to him. And the enemy, Satan, the one who tempts us, came before God and said, "I want to come against Job." And God said, "Okay, but you can't harm him." And in seeing that, I think we can take great courage that even though there's an enemy of our souls, God is more powerful. And God is with us. And so while we will face temptations, the tempter can't overcome God. We are still within God's protection. And so we're promised that he will not give us more than we can bear. So reflect on that this morning, on God's goodness and his protection, and ask him to protect you this day. Lord bless you.